Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrolling throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So let's go ahead and let's begin. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, I'm seeing almost like a flashlight, a light, and then it's like there's like a spotlight on something. Somebody, maybe it's shining over to my left, so it's almost like revisiting the past or putting a flashlight or a spotlight on the past in some way. I'm almost seeing it like if it was dark and like the headlights of a car were pulling up. So there's something about a mystery. There's a whole reason why that says that to me. Whole vibe I'm not going to go into. So there's something about a mystery, something that we're trying to figure out about the past. I almost feel like there's something here, whether it is, why did that go down that way? Why did that happen that way? What exactly did happen? Someone seems to be returning to this over and over. It's almost like this question or some situation that somebody keeps pouring over. It's very, I think in the air in general, there's kind of like this odd ruminating energy that's going through the collective. And this is kind of speaking to me about that. Okay. And I'm feeling something that's almost like a really slick and thick, like oil. So there's something that's going on here where it's like there's some sort of situation where it's got like a residual energy. It has a residual energy on someone. Okay. There's something in this message because I keep looking over here at this. And this for me is the only stone that does anything to ground me. So there's something there about grounding, grounding out some sort of energy. Interesting. There's an intense period of purification that's coming into someone's life. And this is why right now there seems to be this revisit in the mind space back into the past where maybe there's some question marks left unanswered. And these are spaces that it's like our minds are really trying to fill in, but really it's our like conscious ego that's trying to fill it in, right? The one that wants to know everything, the one that wants to understand exactly how things played out so that it feels like there's some sort of closure. The thing is that those answers aren't actually going to give you closure. And it's almost like there's something within the spiritual body, because I'm feeling it like out here, that's trying to pull us along. And it's not that I think that someone's doing that on purpose, right? It's like the mind naturally turns that way. It's almost like whatever this is an opportunity to understand how to control the mind space and how to pull your energy back from something. Not getting too caught up in the whys or the hows or the whens or the what exactly was it, right? But learning to take your eyes and that spotlight off the past and aiming it towards your future. One is a little bit more of a destructive energy because creation doesn't happen by viewing the past. Creation happens by moving forward. So whoever's message this is, and I am feeling like a very, I have a feeling right now that I normally have when I'm interfacing with like the guide collective, what most people I think would term as guides. And so this feels a little bit like someone is basically receiving some help in some way. It's very subtle help. I feel that this field, the guide field, if you will, doesn't necessarily want to force someone to let go of something, or doesn't want to force someone to turn a different direction. But there's something that somebody asked recently inside of maybe their meditation or their prayer, like, why does this keep occurring to me? Or why do I keep dwelling on this? Or, you know, can you tell me what happened? It's almost like that isn't important anymore. It's not important at all. And it's only as important as you make it. And in the grand scheme of things, it's not actually important. If it's about a person, it's like that vibe of like, in 10 years, you're not even going to remember their name. So move forward and start focusing on yourself and on your future. That's the energy that they're giving me. Okay, let's get into this. Right. I don't know why I just keep thinking bass, and I don't know if it means like an instrument or if it means like a bass drum. There's just something about bass. Maybe it's bass. Maybe it's a fish. Here we have the High Priestess, and that's really what the High Priestess does, not fish. She takes her energy from the past, and she knows how to like really allocate that energy in the appropriate places. So this is kind of the energy that it's like this guide collective is trying to help someone move into, one where they're not necessarily tossed around, where they're not necessarily concerned with things that aren't of immediate effect, but an energy where somebody is really able to center and be balanced and understand the correct direction that their focus should be on. This is a very interesting High Priestess, because here the High Priestess, she has the tools of the magician. So I think that's really interesting. She just has this added sort of crescent here. So there's this reflection on the tools, right? So a reflection on what we've created for ourselves, a reflection on our own emotions, a reflection on our mental spaces, the things that we think about, a reflection on our wands, which is our willpower and the actions that we're taking. It's almost like whoever this message is coming forward for, it's like you have a lot more important things to consider and to be worried about than whatever's going on over here. And so there's this very slow extrication of mental energy away from this situation. That's never easy, right? But this is kind of a space where someone is learning how to be the High Priestess. The High Priestess isn't just the High Priestess. She had to go through a lot of training. She had to go through a lot of training on her mind, how to like not get caught up in things, how to not let certain influences kind of take her away, how to not let the past trip her up. The High Priestess is how to learn how to be present. And that's really what's happening here. So someone is being really guided to learn to be present at this moment. I feel like she's looking over here. What's she looking at? She's looking over here at the Nine of Pentacles. This is interesting because, or I'm sorry, this is the Six of Pentacles, but I'm going to say something about the Nine of Pentacles since that slip up came out. The Six of Pentacles is about equal exchange. So the High Priestess is trying to look for equal exchange. And the thing is, that equal exchange will not come by resonating in the vibration, in our mind space, in our emotional space, by dwelling on this past, whatever the past is. It will only come by looking forward towards the future and giving ourselves as much energy as we can so that we can create this kind of outcome for ourselves, right? Because a lot of times when we have situations that it's not equal exchange, it's like we were tolerating something or we were settling for something. And meanwhile, the High Priestess, she's a little too lofty for that, right? Her whole thing is, you better come bearing gifts. If you don't come bearing gifts, you don't even get to be graced with my presence. Like, that's kind of the energy of the High Priestess card. And when we have this energy here, notice I said fish earlier. I said the bass, and we have fish showing up inside this card also. There is this energy when we have this overlay. I'll say an overlay because I accidentally said it, of the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is a self-made man or woman. That's kind of telling me that this isn't about other people giving you things. It's really about what you're willing to give yourself. And, you know, that's kind of the point, right? Even in our relationships, it's about what you're willing to give yourself. So whoever's message this is, it's almost like I'm seeing these pomegranates almost like the journey of Persephone right now. Not necessarily in the context of the High Priestess. I'm seeing it as that sort of descending into our own underworld, going through our own emotions, going through our own spaces, which is what the High Priestess has had to do. And really understanding what fruit is there, understanding what it is that we're growing inside of our life. I'm seeing something about a nest. In the nest, I'm seeing robin's eggs. That's significant for me only in the fact that it's like there is something here that is coming through that is about childhood. And I don't think that that's necessarily what everyone is thinking about, but there's something about all of it having to do with what was nested in us at a very early age. And when we think about like the idea of the nest, you know, that's our family home. That's where we are raised until we're old enough to fly. And with this robin's egg, I'm seeing like a robin's egg that has like cracked open. It's like the shell, the protective shell, in some way is damaged. So there's something about, this keeps coming up on this channel for the last 2 months. There's something about boundaries, and the boundaries that we don't necessarily have for ourselves, and the boundaries of others that we don't necessarily even see, that are really meant to be there in order to provide the best experience for all people, all parties involved. So something about boundaries may be something that a person has to examine at this time. Okay. Taking the bottom card? Yes. So what sits between them is the Hermit. Alone and reflection time is the thing that this High Priestess actually needs. She needs this in order to understand what she truly deserves. And, whether you're male or female, I know I'm saying she just because of the idea of the High Priestess here. But this is an energy inside this Hermit card where it's calling someone to grow, and they grow by understanding their own illumination. Okay. The lantern also represents being able to see certain mysteries or certain secrets. And so I think that some of you may be researching topics about like emotional health, for example. Some of you may be focused on your body and giving your body the things that it needs, especially if you were raised in such a way that maybe the diet of the family was like really poor, right? Or you didn't necessarily know about nutrition. This is probably a time where you're spending learning about these things. Here with the Hermit card, I find this interesting because they really emphasize those like snowy mountains that are seen on the traditional Rider-Waite Pamela Coleman Smith deck. And here the whole card is actually snowy. And when it's snowy, it always makes me think of something being wiped clean, right? So going to this very quiet, insulated sort of energy in order to clear out certain things and to make things pure again. But also, for some of you, you may be freezing people out. It's really dampening the noise, dampening the energetic noise. I just heard dropper, and then I heard a little at a time. So I don't know what that's about, but that came through, so I'll say it. Okay. And right here we have the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups partnership, most people will project that onto another person. But what I'm seeing for this reading is that this Two of Cups is really about ourselves. It's the partnership that we have about ourselves. And most people, they have a really hard time understanding that concept, how to have a partnership with yourself. And so that's something that if you have a hard time understanding that, that's something to sit with. That's something to ask yourself, right? How do I have a better partnership with myself? This isn't something that other people can answer for you. This is a you thing. This is part of your own journey and part of your own lessons, having a healthy partnership with self. Here we have the Ace of Swords. This is what someone is currently trying to learn. I think with the Ace of Swords too, again, it's going back to the idea that there's a lot of internal reflection about some sort of truth. And it just keeps coming up again as I'm reading this. So I'm going to say it one more time, that this truth, whatever it is, it's really not as big of a deal as we're making it out to be at this time. Because in like 2 years, you're not even going to care. And you care now. Maybe because you're hurt, or maybe because it's something that affects you immediately. But this is something that's not going to matter. I almost feel that whatever truth a person is looking for, you're actually not going to find it. You're not going to find it because the point isn't the truth. The point is to be able to control that mind and control that mechanism that always needs answers in order to focus on yourself rather than the situation, the person, the, blah, 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 whatever it is. And so this is really about maturing ourselves in a way that someone else can't control us, right? Because what happens when we need the truth from someone, we need something about that situation, they're the ones in control. Because you're not at peace until you receive something from them, or you receive some sort of aha about them. And when you have more control, you're okay with the question marks. You're okay saying, well, that's past, let's move on. Onward and upward. That's kind of the energy this is giving me, is that this is all a period for somebody to really kind of grow in that way and become a little bit stronger because of it. Okay. Last card. Yeah, there's a definite tower moment here for somebody, I think. And again, things that are just kind of hidden. We have the tower showing up, and then things that are hidden. So for some of you, this may be, for example, a long-term relationship. Could be what the tower is talking about. It could be that some of you had to remove yourself from a relationship that was a long-term relationship. The tower is always something that we invested a lot of energy in. So maybe you're the kind of person that you go in hard and heavy, and you had a very short-term relationship, but it still caused a tower moment because all your eggs were in that basket before you got to know that person. For others of you, this might be a job. It could be any number of things. It could even be your own belief structure and what you thought was real. So, but whatever it is, those answers that you're looking for, they are hidden, Moon card. And by continuing to search for them, this is the energy you're going to wind up in. It's just the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is basically a stuck situation that we can't get out of, or that we think we need something to get out of, when in reality, we're the ones causing that cage and that turmoil. So this is all about really growing a particular aspect of your self-sovereignty. Here we have the Emperor card, and someone is starting to learn how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. This feels like a spirit guide message, so I'm probably going to title it that. So this is a message from someone's spirit guide, something that someone probably asked about. And if this resonates with you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.